The following broadcast is a presentation of iRacing Motorsport Simulations live on PTR-TV. We'd like to thank all of our partners for their support.
He may get the run on the outside, off of the back straightaway. 26 and Hallmark trying to go three wide. No one's going to let them.
Talking and bobbing and weaving down the back straightaway, looking for a way around. The 5 machine trying to take a look underneath the 3 car. He's going to dive it in down the bottom. A huge move down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Back bumper. Can anything happen through the tri-oval? Walker Thomas to the inside. Here he comes to the outside. Side by side through the tri-oval. The 14. It's going to be a photo finish to the line. Who's going to get it? Walker Thomas.
Coming out of turn number 4. Tiller looking to go 3 wide, almost 4 wide. He's going to try to look for a gap. Bobbing and weaving for the lead down through the tri-oval.
Photo finish.
2x2. The 65 gets the win.
Welcome, race fans, back to PTR TV on LSRTV. Tonight's coverage is of the Twitchy Race Reports, the American Sim Racing Series, with their Premier Cup Series. The playoffs are beginning once again at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for what is the Fanatec 180 tonight. It'll be 120 miles around the 1.5 mile D-shaped Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We've seen a lot of racing here this week, and well, it's always a good track, so you can't have too much Las Vegas racing, so excited to bring you the calls here tonight. Of course, the usual duo in the booth, myself, Corey Silva, and Evan Black, and Joe Chris behind the scenes helping us out. So Evan, we saw this last night with the Integrity Racing League, and we saw a very good race, and I expect nothing but the same here tonight with the American Sim Racing Series with the playoffs beginning. So I think we kind of know what to expect, but a different set of drivers, so we'll see if it compares.
Yeah, different set of drivers and a little bit cooler track sims out there, so it's going to be easier for these drivers to keep those things straight, which we saw they had a lot of issues with that last night with being really sideways, so that'll be easier for them tonight, and should still see a lot of side-by-side action though.
Yeah, what we saw last night on the Integrity Racing League, which is again on LSRTV. You can see that coverage we brought to you last night, and well, the bottom of the racetrack is kind of where you wanted to be consistently, but you could run that top of the track, especially in 1 and 2, and even in 3 and 4, and get those monster runs on corner exit. But what it was doing on the long run was actually degrading the right front, which, well, we saw that in the real world. You get those fast times by the wall, but not easy on the tires, so it's kind of a trade-off. You have to decide, do you want that grip, do you want that speed up top, or do you want to make those tires last throughout the entire run? So that's going to be what these drivers have to deal with, is we're just waiting for kind of some admin time to clear through. About 2 minutes left in the session, and Scott Eckrich on the pole right now by 4/100ths of a second over Jeff Ward, who has been kind of the dominant driver in this series with 5 wins on the campaign this far over the course of 13 races. So he's going to be 9 points up over Eckrich in the playoffs at this point. Then Brian Yazik in 3rd, Jordan Ashland in 4th, Mark Emerson in 5th, and then Sam Maxwell, Jared Mogard, and Jason Stewart are the playoff drivers at the moment.
Everyone pretty close there with the playoffs just now starting, only separated by 12 points, so every point is going to count, as 4th through 8th is tied, and then it's only 3 points for between 4th and 2nd, and then Ward with his 9-point advantage over Eckrich.
Yeah, so these guys are, they're going to have to make the most of this round of the playoffs. The Cup Series for the American Sim Racing Series has a shorter schedule than many playoff rounds. They have, I think, 2 rounds to their Truck Series playoff campaign, but only 1 round for the Cup Series. We have 180 miles worth of Las Vegas tonight. We have 60 laps at Indianapolis next week. And then we have 3 weeks of Cup in a row. We're going to go to Indianapolis next week, and then the week after, the pivotal race, the cutoff race to head to Homestead, is going to be at Martinsville. And well, we all know what can happen on a short track, and that's going to be an exciting race. You may have drivers within a point or 2 of each other, and well, how badly do you want to make it to Homestead for the title? So that is the round of the playoffs, but it's all going to begin here tonight at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And well, we are counting down the seconds right now for the race to begin, as well, that is the end of the qualifying server, and here they are, and they will be lining up on the front straightaway. And well, let's bring it to you, the PTR TV on LSRTV starting lineup here from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. On the front row with a lap time of 29.480, Scott Eckrich, and well, Jeff Ward, points leader, in 2nd. We have Brian Yazik in 3rd, Jordan Harnish in 4th, Nick Curling in 5th, Alan Young in 6th, then Troy Haight and Sam Maxwell in row 4.
Then rolling off in the 9th position, we have John A. Martin. In 10th, we have Mark Emerson. 11th, Scott Smith. 12th, we have Jared Haggerty. 13th, we have Woody Mahan. 14th, Jordan Ashland. 15th, Andy Veldman. And in 16th, Chad Finley.
17th position is Jim Foose, Alex Giese in 18th, and then we have Chris Titus in 19th, and Richard Stallings rolling off P20. 21st is Jared Mogard, 22nd is Mitch Brown, and then Mark Cohn and Brandon Stokes, 23rd and 24th.
And the rest of the field, we have John Kennedy in 25th, Jason Stewart 26th, Nick Kaufman 27th, Jeremy Banning 28th, Tim Naughton 29th, Richard Fletcher in 30th, and Steve Bahala 31st, Tyler Seville in the 32nd position.
And well, looks like that actually is your grid here tonight. So Evan referred quickly to the weather conditions here at Las Vegas, so let's bring them up on the screen for you. It is approximately 73 degrees in the air, 102 on the track, which was about 10 degrees cooler than last night, so it'll be interesting to see how that affects the racing. I'm sure it will to some regard. And about 9-mile-an-hour wind, which, well, that's a little bit more than these guys are used to, so let's see if anything like that is going to be the case. But these guys coming through 1 and 2, and 1 quick pace lap, and it will be underway. One thing I do want to note before we get called out on, this is the first race for the Camaro in this series, and a couple drivers we are having paint scheme issues with, so if you couple generic black cars, I do apologize for that. I've done my best to alleviate that. And again, Jeff Ward front row, I'm sorry, I can't get a scheme on that car, so he's just gonna have to bleed the black machine tonight. But here we go through 3 and 4 at Las Vegas. Pole sitter will be on the inside. No lane choice available in the series, so leader will always be on the inside, but they do have the right to go as soon as the pace car pulls off. They have discretion to see when they want to go, and well, let's see what's going to happen. Through turn number 4, pace car is about to pull in, and there it goes. And when is Eckrich going to get this race underway? Waiting, and there he goes on the lock pedal. We are racing at Las Vegas.
And Eckridge got a huge jump over there, over second place Jeff Ward, who was side by side with the 55 of Brian Yazek. Yazek with a pretty good qualifying effort there in the third position. Now moving into second, are going to try to, but Jeff Ward making that high line work is going to clear him.
Yeah, he will fend off Yazek with that run off the top. They'll go down the back straightaway. Eckridge already out to a half-second lead, and well, we've only made it a half of a lap, so he's already shot out of a cannon, but looks like Ward will kind of get himself a little bit of a bubble in second, and then everybody else behind Yazek is in tight quarters.
Nick Kerwin and Sam Maxwell side by side for the sixth position as they go down into turns number 1 and 2. Maxwell up in that outer lane, going to try and make that work. Kerwin on the bottom. The outside is generally where you do want to be. And that 98 of Maxwell is getting the run down the backstretch and not quite going to clear him. Going to be very close down to 3 and 4. Now he clears him.
Yeah, so Yazek will clear for that spot. Here comes the 44 trying to get to the outside of him. Not going to happen. We go back in the field. Somebody scraped the fence over there. Not quite sure who it was, but that is not going to be the first or the last time that happens. These guys will have some troubles as the race progresses, but it does look like everybody is in single file formation, running about the middle to the low groove with all the extra grip, but I'm not sure how well the top is going to come into play.
I think the top is still going to come into play eventually. It's going to take a little bit longer for everyone to get up there to that very top lane, but I think to start, the middle is going to kind of be the preferred area to run because you don't burn your tires up as much as when you're on the top, but you still have more speed than the bottom.
Yep, so up front, still about a half-second lead, and Evan, we've seen all season long how Jeff Ward has just been dominant with his 5 wins out of the 13 races, so we're going to expect him to be up there, but we do know Eckridge is not one to roll over and play dead. He has 2 wins this season as himself. You can already see them running the Larson line up by the fence there. I think Yazek may have got into the fence in the center of the corner, and here comes the 44 of Harnish to his inside.
Yeah, that right front is a little bit bent up there on that 55 machine, which you don't want to get into the wall ever, but especially not on lap 5 of 120, as both the 44 and 26 are going to get by. And now Alan Young in that 26 looking to the outside, Jordan Harnish down the front stretch.
Yeah, Jordan Harnish is under fire from Alan Young. Good run from him in the top 5 at this point in the race, trying to look to the inside, and Sam Maxwell trying to take a look to the inside of Yazek. Yazek with a big slide off of corner number 2, and that'll open up the door. He can't shut the door. Maxwell is up top. They will find their way, and here comes Maxwell trying to get that run to the outside. Yazek will leave the door open. Maxwell running the top of the racetrack successfully.
Coming down the front stretch, still going to be side by side, going down into 1 and 2. Maxwell is going to have the preferred lane, but Yazek is just going to let him go. Yazek does not want to run back down on the bottom once again.
Yeah, so Yazek will be dropping back, and it does look like Harnish is trying his best to hang on over Alan Young, who is ready and raring to fight for that position. And it does look like, as I'm looking up front, it does look like the gap is starting to deteriorate. It was about a half-second. Now it is just over 0.3 of a second. So yeah, Ward is making some headway, Evan, but is that a good thing this early in the run to be gaining time, because he may be overusing his tires?
Yeah, we'll have to find out. It's going to be hard to know this early in the run. We'll find out in 10-15 laps, but running pretty even lap times. Last time it looks like Eckridge was about a half a tenth quicker. We'll see here, and once again about a little over a half a tenth quicker that time, so I wonder if Ward did kind of earn a step up a little bit.
Yeah, we'll have to see. There's still plenty of time, and Evan, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we have full fuel cells in this league.
Yeah, it is full fuel, so they can probably go around 55 or 60 laps, I would say.
So it could be a very tight one-stop race, but that's, of course, assuming that this does go green. But I mean, from what we've seen, both in our time watching this races this week and, well, racing them ourselves, there hasn't been a lot of yellow flag racing, so I would be under the impression we're going to have a lot of green flag racing tonight.
Yeah, I think you can most likely be able to do this on one stop, but I think the 2 stop is going to be better because it's going to be so close to make it 60 laps. I think it'd be better just to pit around lap 40 and then 80 and then run it out to the end. But we'll find out. There's probably going to be multiple strategies out there.
Yeah, I would not want to be out there for 60 laps. That's at least my opinion. It's because it's going to be a tough one on the tires and at the edge of the fuel load, as there's nearly some three-wide racing going on in the top 10. Jared Haggerty has Troy Haight going to his outside. That's going to open the door for Jordan Ashland, driver we always see at the front of these races, trying to get himself into the top 10. Right behind him is Alex Giese in the 12th spot. So these guys all trying to get around Jared Haggerty in the 6th, who's on the inside right now. It does look like the inside has been getting freight train. Did not expect it to come into play this early in the race on that outside groove, but well, what else is new? I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's pretty hard once you try to make a pass on the inside lane. There's contact there with the 6 of Haggerty and the 77. Is that Giese? Is he going to save it? No, not going to be able to.
Hard impact with Woody Mahan. Caution is out. Going to go on to the replay and see what happened there. It did look like it was all off of corner number 2. Giese, Haggerty may have washed up. Giese may have gotten a little bit low, but Giese got the short end of the stick there. And Woody Mahan, big impact. I think Scott Smith may have had a little residual impact, that 21 machine. But, yeah, regardless of such, first caution is underway here tonight, and do expect pit road to be a busy place.
Yeah, after those 13 laps, they're definitely going to want fresh tires. I say even after 3 or 4 laps, they want fresh tires. So, see pretty much everyone coming down pit road here, and for sure going to get 4 tires. Pits are open here. We'll see. Everyone's probably going to come down pit road there. Scott Eckert's leading everyone down now.
I don't see 2 tires working. I don't think anybody is going to try it, so I do expect 4 tires and fuel, as we said, from everybody, but see if there's any shake-up on pit road, as we know how difficult it can be to get yourself into your pit box and have a successful stop. Easier said than done. Does look like everybody up front able to do so successfully, and no
Richard Fletcher staying out. Most likely just to lead a lap, then we'll come down pit road, I would assume.
Andy, I was going to say, Andy Veltman usually would be the one to do that, but I think he may have had some, he has some significant damage as that 97. We didn't quite catch what happened to him, but that 97 already in pit road with a lot of repair being done. But we do have, as you said, that number 47, Richard Fletcher, staying out. He was not scored as the leader that last lap by, so if he is going for the point, he will need it. So he'll need to stay out for an additional lap.
Yeah, Corey, it looks like there was actually an incident just a couple laps before that caution came out. That's where Veltman got his damage. On lap 11, there's like looks like a 4-car incident that did not bring out the caution.
Yeah.
Veltman, Titus, Stokes, and Seville involved. Looks like it started because 3 guys hit the wall at the exact same time and just that slowed them all down, and the 0-1 of Stokes ended up going around. Or actually, he didn't go around. The 25, Chris Titus, went around. And then Veltman ended up going around as well.
Yeah, so again, depending where they hit the wall and what part of the track they get to, iRacing doesn't throw cautions if they are dictated to be off of the racing surface, so it could have just been, as we said, all the way down to the apron and out of harm's way. So they must have got themselves going and out, all trying to get back into the race if they can. But anything stick out to you, Evan, on that opening run that we just had?
Well, the top 2, it seemed like everyone was, or the top 2 was faster than pretty much everyone else, because they were pulling away. Third on back was a pretty big gaggle of everyone just staying together. So I wonder if those top 2 were just burning their stuff up, or if they just are that much quicker. So we'll have to watch that as we go into this next run. If we can get 20-30 laps in if those top two do continue to pull away.
And someone we always wait to see is Brian Yazik, but Yazik, I think he had some damage fixed there because he's all the way back in 23rd. I did see, almost certain I saw him scrape the wall through the center of 1 and 2, so he's going to have a long and difficult journey through this field, and he's going to need to get through it quickly again. If this does go green and he can't get through it, well, or get the benefit of a caution, then he's going to be significantly far off the lead and may not be able to get back up there in contention. So storyline we will be covering, but pace car is, well, to turn the lights off, and we are about a half a lap from racing.
Already got quite a few cars going behind the wall. Richard Stallings, Tyler Seville, Chris Titus, Andy Veltman, and Alex Giese have all gone behind the wall and are done for this race tonight. Eckrich and Ward back on the front row just like that initial start. Jordan Harnish in 3rd, Sam Maxwell 4th, Alan Young in 5th, and Mark Emerson 6th as they come through turns number 3 and 4 now. See if Eckrich can get as good of a jump as he did on that initial start, because he had about 6 car lengths on Ward by the time they got down into turn 1. Now to turn 4 now, waiting for the pace car to pull down onto pit road. And there it goes now. When is Eckrich going to choose to go? A little bit later in the box here. And there he goes now. Not as good of a start for him over Ward, as he's only got about a car length or 2 on him.
I'm not sure if that was a slow start or what, because he got a huge jump when he did decide to get on the loud pedal. Again, out to a huge gap. He did the same thing last time, out to about a half second, already at that same interval already. But here comes Harnish trying to pounce on the opportunity as a couple drivers loose off of 2. That's the 26 of Alan Young. Goes all the way down to the inside of the back straightaway, gains control of the vehicle, but see gaggle of cars. We have who is that? That's Jared Mogard getting up there, and Mitch Brown. They are 2 by 2 for about 4th to 8th.
Mogard started back in the 21st position, now in 8th, and right behind 6th. Going down, he's going to try and make it 3 wide. Don't think it's going to be close enough to do anything with that yet. It's the 26 of Young. Once again, get a little loose in front of him.
Oh, Mitch Brown
He's behind him.
Mitch Brown was all sorts of sideways there. Gets control of that machine. But Jared Mogard, haven't talked about him, haven't seen him. He's trying to make his presence known here at the latter end of the top 10, all the way to the back bumper of Alan Young. Trying to wait and see what move he is going to make.
See, is he going to go down to the bottom? He's going to stay right in line for now. Running a little bit lower, now pulling to the inside, trying to cut down on the exit of the corner to get a run. Not going to be able to. Is Jordan Ashman now taking a look by him, but not going to be able to get to his outside. See if Mogart tries to make a dive down into 3 and 4. Not going to. Going to try and get underneath him out of 4, and just does not have enough for a run. But here comes Mogart now underneath that 26 of Young down into turns number 1 and 2. See how low is he going to go? Not all the way down to the white line, now getting there, but the 26 of Young using that high lane is going to get a pretty good run, but Mogart did a really nice shot down there on the bottom and managed to stay even.
Yeah, he is. So this is an intense race into the bottom as Mogart on Alan Young. He's going to try to slide up off of 4, but that momentum from the top again perseveres. And, well, it didn't persevere well enough. Nearly some contact at the exit of the tri-oval there, but Young will relinquish the position, but now he'll have to watch out for that number 27 right behind him. And, well, apparently he did not get off of 2, and now Young has a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, Alan Young cut Mogart a break there, which I don't know if he would do it if Mogart shuts the door like that again. But now Mogart says his sights on that 28 of Troy Haight for the 6th position. And Mogart's really the only guy I see running or cutting the apron down there and on the front stretch. Because it seems like everyone else is getting a little bit too loose to do that, but Mogart is the only one trying it.
Yeah, I mean, it won't gain you a ton of time, but it will gain you a little bit. It could be the difference to get to somebody's left rear quarter panel and try to get a little bit of a draft and suck up to get a move into corner number 1. But for the moment, he does stay in the 6th position, as you said, Evan, all the way down there to that inside, which later in the run, it could be a little more difficult to make that move happen, as he does go to the inside of Troy Haight in 1 and 2. But again, that outside just has too much momentum, and Haight will hang on.
But we saw last night with Adam de Blasio running that inside lane, that really helped him out in the long run. So with Mogard now running the bottom all the way around the track, that might end up really helping him on the long run, as Alan Young has a run on him, as well as Mogard has run on Troy Haight. Using that apron on the front stretch, he gained a lot of time by doing that, almost cleared him down into turn 1.
Yes, he did. Mogard has cleared. Alan Young trying to do the same, but does not have the ability to keep that line going down there, so he will fall back in the line. I do see some side-by-side going on just behind us. Mitch Brown has fallen back a little bit. He's trying to get underneath Nick Curling in the 45, but just seems that these guys are making use of that outside lane early in this race. Here comes Mitch Brown trying again to get some kind of position to the inside entering 1. All the way to the inside groove, right through the bumps. Las Vegas is very bumpy on the inside. 1 and 2 makes it harder to stay down there, but with the cooler track temps, there may be enough grip to overcome those bumps, make that inside work a little bit better. Look at the 3 distinct lines being run here in 3 and 4. Martin up top, Curling in the middle, and Brown to the bottom.
That very top seemed to work for that 07 of John Martin. So go down into 1 and 2 now. We'll see which line will prevail here, as once again 3 different lanes. 07 once again way up top. He's going to try and get the run. He's going to get a run, not quite as big enough of a run as he would have liked. Not going to be able to clear him down to 3 and 4. See what lane prevails here. As who's that? Alan Young had a really bad entry into 3. I don't know if he got loose out of 2. He was really low.
Yeah, did not get a lot of time, but 07 to Martin and the 45 Curling still side by side for that position. As we go back a little bit further, and Mitch Brown now has, who is that? That is John Smith. I'm sorry, John Martin rather.
Mitch Brown
to the inside.
Going around, hits the inside wall. That's not going to bring in the caution out though. He's too far to the inside, but I believe he is stuck in that wall.
Yeah, that is the rescue breakaway section as we go on to the blimp cam on instant replay. He was underneath and no contact made. Maybe got a little arrow loose, locked it up, and so kind of stuck in the wall there. I think the mistake he may have made of it, he locked it up. I think if he let off the throttle and let it roll, he may have been able to save that.
Yeah, I know a lot of times it's so hard to think to just let off the throttle, because you want to stay in the throttle so that you can keep it out of the outside wall, but sometimes whenever you stay in the throttle, it makes you end up hitting the inside wall.
I mean the brake. Because he was locked on the brakes there so long, just completely locked up, that car just went straight to the wall. I think if he let off the brake and gave it some gas, he may have been able to steer that off the wall. Or maybe I'm just making up physics right now for all I know, but
it's kind of hard to know. But up front, Eckrich has still about a 3/4 of a second lead over Jeff Ward, and it's kind of stabilized there. Looks like Eckrich was a little bit quicker last time by.
Yeah, the gap is 3/4 of a second and about half a tenth or so in the benefit of Eckrich last time by, but we do have 3rd through 6th pretty much under a blanket here, and here comes a battle for 3rd. Sam Maxwell showing some power here tonight. He's going to the inside of Harnish in that number 44 machine, trying to pull door to door. He has done that, but we know how difficult it is. Harnish shuts the door in the trial. Well, I'm not used to really saying that, but I feel like it's happened a couple times tonight already. But Maxwell is persevering and trying to make that inside lane work again, see if he can make it work through 3 and 4.
He had a real good run through that inside lane through 1 and 2, now in 3 and 4. So he can make that inside lane work. It looks like he is going to, not gonna clear. He just barely clears. I'm not gonna shut the door. See if that 44 can get the run. He is going to, and stay at his right rear quarter panel. See if they go down to 1 and 2. That's the 98 is gonna shut the door now. There's barely enough room for him to do that.
So now he is in 3rd, but he has nearly 4 seconds to get the lead, but I don't think that 44 is done. You can see everybody wiggling and wobbling off of 2 down the back straightaway, and here comes Mogard. Again, Mogard has been making some significant progress from his 21st starting position. Now he's knocking on the door to get into the top 5, and he's underneath Mark Emerson, and he may try to go 2 for 1 and see if he can get Harnish at the same time.
Mogard gets by Emerson now, going to try and get by that 44 for Harnish. Mogard running really high there through 1 and 2. Highest of these guys up front, and it's going to work for him. We got a really good run there through 1 and 2, and it's almost going to clear him down the backstretch. He might actually do so into 3. Yeah, he is clear now. Really good move there by Mogard.
Yeah, very good move indeed, and that's going to allow him to now be up into the 4th spot. And Sam Maxwell next on his radar. All of this, as I said, a little over 4 seconds behind the lead. Top 2 still separated by about 3/4 of a second, so not much is changing up there. And gets to the point in the race, Evan. We talk about it all the time, but they do have a little bit of battling going on. It does look like that 22 in the 44, tight quarters racing, but has fizzled out just a little bit. But we're 20 laps into this run, Evan, and you figure we can go those 60 laps, so that gives them about another 35 to 40 in the tank. That puts them well past halfway, so what do? Do you still try to do this maybe around 65 or 70 and give yourself a little buffer, or are you just going to go to the end and see if a caution comes out?
Well, I don't know for sure that they can go another 40 laps, so it might be, the safe bet might be to just go to lap 65, and then you'll have a 55 lap run to the end. As
Mogard moves into P3.
It's going to be very close for them to go 60 laps on fuel. I really don't know if they can do that. It's going to be 55 to 60, somewhere around there, but I really don't know exactly how far they can go. Jeff Ward has closed in Eckhrich's lead a little bit. He was over a 10th quicker last time by.
Yeah,
we'll see once again about 800ths or so quicker than Eckrich.
Yeah, we'll bring up the lap tracker so you can see at home what these guys are running, and you can see a 41 to a 49, nearly a 10th in the back pocket for Jeff Ward as he is slowly trying to make some headway. And as we go down the list, not really anybody relatively close to what they are running. Only other driver relatively up there is Mogard, but again, he's 4.5 seconds back.
But that time, Eckrich was a little bit quicker.
They're just trading lap times, it seems.
I noticed Eckrich is running a lot higher, so that can be a little bit riskier lane. You're closer to the wall, so it's easier to hit it. But it might actually be a little bit, or it might be a little bit quicker, because Eckrich is kind of starting to pull away a little bit now. It's back up to 3/4 of a second gap.
Yep, so again, these guys just experimenting, and every lap it's just, where is the grip? Where is the tires going to let me run? Where do I maybe have to back up my corners a little bit? Where do I have to run a little bit higher? All this is just stuff that they are trying to dynamically figure out. There's a little bit of traffic ahead. That's John Martin to the inside, and can't quite see who it is, but they will be passing somebody. Actually, they won't be passing him because he's on fresher tires. I think that's Richard Stalling. Richard Fletcher, rather.
They're getting by they just got by the 26 of Alan Young, who had an incident and has a lot of damage to the front end of that machine.
I remember we were talking about Alan Young in the top 5 earlier, but something happened that we didn't catch on air, and obviously it has caused a significant change of events in that number 26 race, so he's going to have to recover from that the best he can. He is not a playoff driver, but obviously still fighting for every point he get, every position he can get. Just obviously in the playoff picture, Scott Eckrich is going to gain a couple bonus points if this race does finish where it is right now, because Jeff Ward is in second and, to my knowledge, has not led a lap or gotten any bonus points today. Brian Yazik, he was 23rd, and now he, on the restart, he's now into the top 10, so that 55 making some good progress. We have Jordan Ashland in the top 10. We have Mark Emerson in the top 10, so the top 5 in the standings are, well, they're running well tonight.
And one guy that missed the playoffs but is having a really good run here tonight is Jim Foose. He's in 11th right now. He's running in the top 10 a bit earlier, but running 11th, that's a really good run for him.
And again, unfortunately, I tried my hardest, but cannot get Jim Foose's paint scheme to load. So unfortunately, he is another one of the Black Bandits tonight. But I think Evan Black, you said you had problems too. So you're seeing a Black Bandit as well?
Yes, I am.
So I don't see what the problem is, but again, pretend there's a Brant scheme on that car because that's what it is. But again, good run for him in 11th. See if he can catch Curling in the Isaac to get himself into the top 10, but that is still in the works right now. It can go a little bit further back. Jeremy Banning is battling with Tim Knott. That is for 14th and 15th positions respectively. Looks like Banning will persevere. And we go throughout the field, and we do have 18 drivers still on the lead lap. Jason Stewart in that number 7 machine being the last of those. Stewart is a playoff driver, so this race not going per what I'm sure he was hoping going into it.
So we're probably going to be seeing some of these front runners coming down the road in probably, I'd say, about 15 laps. 15 to 20 laps, that's probably about as far as they can go. And at this point, if they're staying at this long, it's most likely going to be a one-stop for them. At least they're going to try and make it a one-stop.
Yeah, I think they would, as you said, maybe want to go a lap 65, 70 is a little bit of a buffer because, as you said, 60 I think is right on the edge, but you know that's going to be 45 laps in to get to lap 60 on these tires, and because we are, as I'll pull up the stint graphic for the fans at home, and 32 laps on the tires already, so add about 15 more to get that to lap 60, and that's 45 laps in. But if that's to the edge of the window, you're going to want to stretch it, and these guys will be having a difficult time, as they already seem to be on these tires.
And I was kind of wondering if those top 2 will be able to keep that pace up, and it looks like they are able to, as they are gaining a lot of time, pulling away a lot from Jared Mogart and everyone behind him. The gap now 5.4 seconds off the lead is Mogard. So Eckrich and Ward are definitely the class of the field on the short run and the long run.
Yeah, and that's something that you will see, is that these guys drop off, the guys pull away. It's just we haven't seen not to say this in a negative way, we haven't seen a full long green run in this series in quite some time, so we're really getting to see the drivers that get to they have the finesse on the older tires. As I will tell you, Scott Eckrich is running the wall there. You'd think there was a 42 DC Solar scheme on that machine. He was right up on the fence in 1 and 2. Hopefully he'll run that next lap for us.
Yeah, you can find a lot of speed right up there against the wall.
He's even running pretty high at 3 and 4 relatively. We usually don't see the top running in 3 and 4, but he is doing that this time by. And
see if he does it here in 1 and 2. Yeah, and into the wall there. That's a little bit higher than he wants to go. And that's at least the second time he's cutting the wall, because I saw some damage on that car before that, but it doesn't seem to be hurting him too much. Did lose a little time to Jeff Ward there. 6/10 of a second now is the gap. I don't know if that's because he just hit the wall or if he gained some more time along with that.
Yeah, I definitely think that helped Jeff Ward in his case out, because he was 4/10 faster that last lap, and I think he gained a bunch off of 2 that last time.
Yeah, gap now down to just about a half a second. See here, 3 and 4, he's running that very bottom is Jeff Ward, and that number 90, Eckrich running the middle lane. And now under a half second, we'll see how much quicker he was this time here. About just a little over a tenth quicker.
Yep, so Ward making some progress, but as we well know, getting there is one thing, passing him is another, especially at Las Vegas, where as multi-groove as it is not easy to make a pass. We've seen in the past that we've seen slide jobs. I mean, we've seen dive bombs. We've seen bumpers. We've seen everything here. Because when you have that outside groove working, as long as you don't get loose up there, it is really easy just to pin that guy down at the top groove and kind of, you know, just kill his momentum and make it really hard for him to do anything.
But Eckrich got into the wall a little bit there again in 1 and 2. But he really didn't lose much, if any, time there. But the more he does that, the more it's going to make Jeff Ward feel better about being able to get up there and get by him. Eckrich is really fighting a hand on that car, and here comes Jeff Ward to pit road.
Yep, so on lap 52, which is very early as far as I know. I don't think this is a one-stop race, so he may be splitting this up.
But Jim Foose is on pit road as well, and also Brian Yazik on pit road.
Yeah, Yazik one to follow as well, being a high playoff driver up in the standings. He's just now exiting the pits. Now, when is this going to draw Eckrich to pit road? Eckrich is showing no intent to come this time by. He zooms on by as we complete lap 53.
And Eckrich got loose there on the straightaway.
On the apron there, as we said. I talked about it with Bogart earlier. Running that line is...
I don't even know if he meant to go down there. He got really loose on the front stretch. He just ended up down on the apron.
Now, the million-dollar question is, when is he going to pit? Is he going to try to pull this on a different strategy? He's running low off of 4.
Here he comes.
Here he comes. He gets really, really loose, but hangs on to it.
So they're going to be pitting here and probably
lap 90,
around lap 90?
Yeah.
90 to 95, I would say, and then just running there from there.
Well, that would be a very short run to the end, so I'm very surprised, in all honesty, that if they were gonna do a 2-stopper, that they chose to shorten the segments up this much. But as hard as it is, maybe that is the best bet. But is everyone going to play that same ball game? That's going to be the question. We have Jared Bogart up here, who has been a top 4 driver all race, but not maybe a top 3 or driver that can compete with Eckrich or Ward. So does that cue him to try something different and maybe try to stretch this on one more?
And there's a caution. So that's going to trap Ward and Eckrich both a lap down, I believe.
We'll have to see. Ward is in position for the free pass. He is first car off of the lead lap, but does look like Eckrich is probably going to have to take the wave.
Looks like Jeremy Bannion might have been the cause of caution there. Yeah, looks like he got loose out of turn 2. Spun down onto the backstretch and hit the wall. And then it bounced back up onto the track, which heard the caution.
Yep, so here we are trying to catch the pace car here on the back straightaway. And again, a huge shakeup in this race to see how these guys are going to get to recover, and the drivers that this has helped: Mogard, Maxwell, Emerson, Ashland, Stokes, Jason Stewart. Then we're going to have
Stewart. He was kind of on the verge of going a lap down there, so this is really going to help him out.
And then we're going to have Jason Stewart. I'm sorry, we have Jeff Ward on the free pass, and then a whole bunch of wave rounds. Luckily, the wave round isn't going to be that bad. These guys maybe have 3 to 4 laps max on the tires, which is not ideal, don't get me wrong, but not that bad. So,
which I don't even think Eckrich had a full green flag lap, so it's going to be a pretty good spot right here, besides being behind a lot of other cars.
Maxwell, I think, overshot his pit box there just a little bit, so that isn't going to help his causes up. Bogard out of his stall, and we wait to see if he has any competition off of pit road. Doesn't appear to be the case. So these guys will merge back onto the racetrack, and we will take this quick opportunity to go to a commercial break, and we'll be back with you for the restart, so please stay with us.
So I'm working on the animation implementation for the game. We're working on getting pit crews fully developed, and that involves a lot of moving parts. So I'm going in and making sure that each moving part can dovetail smoothly into the next one, so that when you pull in for a pit stop, it looks like the real thing, as opposed to a bunch of jumbled pieces that suddenly stop and then go and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's so cool, but why aren't you working on the time model? Nothing? So, hey, this is the new iRacing scanner, right?
Yep, this is our new scanner.
Wow. And this scans all your tracks and will scan everything else around it as well?
Yeah, you can even scan yourself with it.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, don't tell Tony that I asked, but how do you turn it on?
You just hit this button, scan right here.
Cool. And then that's just going to move around?
Yep. It'll just do a rotation, scan away.
Oh, wow, that's cool. That's cool. That's real cool.
Hey, Kevin, can you come to the office for a minute?
Yeah,
I need to show you something.
there.
And we're back here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway on Primetime Racing TV, brought to you on LSRTV for the American Sim Racing Series, the Twitchy Race Reports Premier Cup Series here, round one of the playoffs. We just had a caution at a extremely inopportune time for many drivers, which has led to a ton of wave rounds. This is Jared Mogard right here, and you can see ahead of him how many drivers are going to be waved around. A significant amount, as those drivers who pitted on the green flag got caught a lap down because of the caution, including Scott Eckrich, who was the leader of this entire race up until that point. So he's going to be put in a situation that's going to be rather difficult. But luckily for him, his tires aren't that old, so he should be at least in a decent spot. But now Jared Mogard, he's going to have the opportunity to pounce right now and try to get into clean air, but he's going to have Mark Eberson, Sam Maxwell, Jordan Ashland, and Brandon Stokes in the top 5 of them.
15 cars on the lead lap here. See a lot of them behind these top 8 or so single file, since they did take the wave around. We'll see here as they come out of turn 4. Once the pace car drops down, when is Mogard going to choose to go? So the pace car goes down now. When is he going to go? And he goes early in the box and gets a really good jump over Emerson.
Yes, he does, and see if he can get that kind of jump that Jeff Ward was getting earlier. Actually, Eckrich was getting rather earlier. He was getting about half-second jumps right off the bat, and maybe not a half-second, but a good 3-4 car lengths to start. So Mogard is starting this restart off on a good foot, and we'll see what kind of speed he has now that he has clean air.
Halfway in this race now, as Jeff Ward is back in the 5th position. I wonder how long it will take for him to get back out through this field, and he was in 2nd before that caution came out and before he pitted. I'm going to be interested to see if Jared Mogard does have the speed to stay up here, because we've never really seen him this far up front in this race as he started back in the 21st position.
Somebody, that red car back there, well, I can't tell who it was.
Brandon Stokes, who did a lot of damage to that car.
Yeah, he was hard in the fence there, 1 and 2, but I think he's already had something go wrong with that 0-1 tonight, because you can see all the front end damage to it. So that'll not be helping his aerodynamic causes out. But big gaggle going on right behind them. Brian Yazik and who is that? That's
Steve Buhala.
Steve Buhala, again, one of the Black Bandits. Again, apologies for that. Did try, but couldn't get those to load, so Uhala in the 43. It loses the spot to Yazik. Yazik has Ekrich right in front of him, already up to 7th.
And Ekrich is on pretty much fresh tires as Jared Haggerty gets really loose in front of him. He only had a lap or two on his tires before that caution came out, so he's not in too much of trouble right now. He's has to get by 6 more cars to get back up to where he was. As Jeff Ward now to 3rd as he got by Sam Maxwell. And Emerson is not letting Mogard get away up there up front. Pretty even lap times last time by, but only about a quarter of a second the gap.
Yeah, so the question's going to be is how soon is Ward going to be able to get to the front? But while we have a brief moment to do so, let's do a slightly past halfway mid-race break and give you a rundown of where everybody is running. Mogard is leading this race right now. Mark Emerson in 2nd, Jeff Ward in 3rd, Sam Maxwell in 4th, Jordan Ashland in 5th, Brandon Stokes in 6th, Scott Ekrich in 7th, Brian Yazik in 8th, then Jordan Harnish, Troy Haight, your top 10.
Jim Fu still running in that 11th position. He has Nick Curling right behind him. And Scott Smith in 13th. Jason Stewart in the 14th position. Tim Knott 15th. Jared Haggerty 16th. Steve Buhala in 17th. Alan Young 18th. Richard Fletcher 19th. And Mitch Brown in 20th.
And then major attrition for the remainder of the field as we'll focus back on the leaders just in case something happens. We have Jeremy Banning, John Kennedy, John Martin, Mark Cohn, Woody Mahan, Alex Geezy, Chris Titus, Tyler Seville, Andy Veltman. And actually those are the drivers that have already retired. We have 3 entries that did not take the grid tonight, but we do have what may be a battle for the lead.
Jared Mogard and Mark Emerson up there in the top 2, but out of turn number 2, Jeff Ward had a huge run on that 22 of Emerson. Got right to the back bumper, now down into 3 and 4. Ward running that middle lane, going to try and get the run out of the corner, and down the front stretch. He's going to get a really good run. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to pull side by side here on the front stretch. He's going to try and get to that side, but Emerson is going to shut the door.
Yeah, he's going to make it really hard for that number 90 to make something happen, but here comes the high-low from Ward trying to get that run off of 2 if he can do it. And he's going to take a look to the inside in 3. He's not going to be able to sail it down in there. He's going to have to try to get the bite down there on the inside groove and see if it'll get him by the 22. Not going to happen this time by, and as these guys battling is going to slowly drag Maxwell back into the picture.
Going down into 1 and 2 now. Jeff Ward not in the preferred lane there, but he's going to try and make it work. Not going to be able to there. He's not going to lose his side-by-side positioning. Going to be close though down the backstretch. Emerson might just barely clear him, but not close enough to shut the door. It's Jeff Ward still on that inside lane, and you saw how much faster Jeff Ward was than Emerson, but he's making it really hard for him to pass.
And Ward is doing something I called out last night that some drivers weren't doing, is when you have a driver running the top, you don't necessarily need to run right on the white line. You can run that middle and take advantage of that banking in the middle of the track when you do have that guy all the way up top. So that's helping the 90 to maintain the side-by-side, but it's just not enough to allow him to clear.
Yeah, Ward can start to pull ahead just a little bit as there he does out of 4, but he just is not able to clear. We'll see if he can here through 1 and 2. He's got his nose ahead as they go down into the corner, and he's clear now. Going to try and slot him in front of him, but not going to be able to. Emerson had a really good run through the center of 1 and 2, and Ward getting loose, not going to be able to shut the door.
Yeah, you can see here from the blimp cam, they are still, this has been maybe 3 laps at least. They have been side by side, and at this point, I don't think either driver cares if they're in front or behind. They just want to sort this out because this is just allowing Mogard to pull away. They are running, well, actually, in all honesty, they didn't run that much slower, only about a 10th slower than him. But Ward will fall back into 3rd and try to wind it back up for another shot.
Goes to that very top lane through 1 and 2 to get the run out of the corner. He's going to do just that. Not close enough to make a move down to 3 and 4, but if he does that another time or 2, he should be able to pull next to him again and hopefully clear this time.
I think Emerson saw what he was doing with that high arc on the entry and maybe cutting a low on exit. He's trying to take that line away from him as Ward was trying to look to the outside, get the preferred groove into 1. Didn't happen. He's going to fall right behind him, and You can see here that 22 is holding up Ward through the center of the corner. He pulls within inches of the back bumper, but has to back off to avoid contact.
And Emerson actually had a pretty good run there through 1 and 2 once he started that run in that very top lane like Ward was. And here through 3 and 4, Ward going all the way down to that white line. Out of turn 4 now, going to pull side by side with him, and he got a really good run there. He might be able to clear Emerson here. It's going to be very close. He is clear now. Is he going to shut the door? Yes, he will.
All right, so now all of that has allowed Mogard to pull away by 1 second. But it looks like the 22, he's going to try to fight a little bit more. He's not going to be able to. Now Maxwell, well, it's his turn to try to get that 3rd spot, try to get by. And not happening quite yet.
He's able to pull next to him out of turn 4, even with him down the front stretch. But Emerson using that momentum from that high lane is going to pull ahead a little bit at the start finishing and hold on to that spot there. Going down into 1 and 2 now. The 22 only running that middle lane, not running the very top like he had been before. And I think that actually hurt him a little bit. He wasn't able to get as well of a run as he would have liked to.
Yeah, so still just, and this is just allowing, you can see how fast Ward has pulled away. He pulled away by a good bit already, but now even more so as Maxwell will be able to clear. So now 3/4 of a second for Maxwell to have anything to do with Ward if he has the speed to do so. And Ward really hasn't taken too much of a gap out of Mogard's Mogard's advantage. It's now about 0.8 of a second, so slow and steady gains he is making.
About a 10th quicker last lap, and looks like he's gaining another 10th this lap, so another 10-15 laps and he should be there.
Now that's if he can continue the pace, and again, we saw how hard it was for him to get by Emerson, so what makes us think that Jared Bogard's going to be much harder, much easier to pass?
Well, I think he is going to be a little bit harder, as you saw how much quicker he was than Emerson. He's not that much quicker than Mogard, only about a 10th or 2. So that's going to make it even harder for him to get by.
Yes, it will, as battle up front has fizzled out, so let's see if we can find some other battling on the racetrack for you right now. We go back, and looks like there's a close quarters battle going on with Jim Foose and Nick Curling. Foose still running in that 11th position, but looks like Nick Curling is trying to take that away from him.
I think 11th is just Jim's spot tonight.
Looks like Curling falls back a little bit, so maybe, as you said, that 42 is destined for the 11th position.
I think he's been running there about the last 50 laps. As it looks like most of the field is getting single file and kind of spread out here. So they're getting further along in this run. It's making it harder for everyone to be even and stay close together.
And I think something to do with the weather conditions tonight, Evan. We saw that last night these guys were getting a lot looser. I think that was because of the slick track. They do have more grip tonight, as Brandon Stokes all the way to the inside on the back straightaway. Let's go back and see what happened to him.
So he just got loose out of turn 2. He had that happen to him before in this race. That's how he got all that damage. But what I am amazed about is he's running 7th in that tore up race car.
I can see that huge wiggle, and thankfully for him that is all pavement to the inside here at Vegas rather than grass that it is at some tracks. As here we go up front. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden that lead is gone. And here comes Jeff Ward running around the top.
Looks like Mogard just tried to run the bottom there in 1 and 2, lost all of his time, and now Jeff Ward, just from that one mistake by Mogard, is now in the lead.
Well, like two trailer park girls, Jeff Ward ran it around the outside and was able to get by and take the lead. And Scott Eckrich, remember, he was the one that was leading this race before, and now he's up to 5th now. He is battling with Jordan Ashland, but he's in 5th. So now Ward wasn't able to get by earlier, but now he's going to be in pretty good territory right now. Pull away and try to go for win number 6 on the season.
And it looks like the only reason that Mogard lost that much of his gap there is he just tried to run the bottom 2 laps in a row for 1 and 2, and that really slowed him down.
And Ward, again, within inches of the fence in 1 and 2. And again, we're going to go on board with him and pray to God that he runs it one more time. But Knowing luck, he probably won't, but we'll see what happens. On board with him, pull up the telemetry.
Well, I think he saw how much slower Mogard was when he went to the bottom, so I'd say he's probably still going to run right up against that wall.
Almost at the wall on the entrance of the corner there, but a little more cautious this time by. He kind of straddles the seam. Last time by, he was kind of making Larson proud, about 1/4 of a centimeter off the fence.
He's got a bit more of a lead now, so he really doesn't need to run that high. And Corey, it's going to be very close on being able to make it on fuel from here.
Do you have inside information on telemetry?
No, just we thought they could go 55 to 60 laps, and it's going to be 63 lap run to the end.
So I will say that this is back in the old school days of, I want to say it was the Gen 4 or maybe the Impala or something like that. I did stretch 65 laps here, but that was very old school iRacing. I'm not sure if those same physics apply to the new Gen 6 we have right now, but if you hypermile it, you probably can do that. By hypermiling, I mean shut it off, coast, let it ride, get off the throttle, but doing that costs you so much time, not sure if it really is worth it.
I wonder if that's what Mogard is doing, because he is slowed down to where he is 0.8 of a second slower than Jeff Ward.
Well, we have the technology. Let's go on board with him.
Because he's moved down to the bottom lane, and which by now he knows that's slower.
See, he's off the throttle.
Nothing really sticks out there like he's saving fuel.
I mean, he's really tentative on the throttle, but that's just kind of nature of how you have to drive these cars. It does appear that he's full up. We don't have the live, well, accelerator and brake data, but it does sound like he's full throttle on the straightaways. But running the shorter distance around, I mean, a shorter distance, that's technically longer that you can go, so...
And Corey, we have our first guy on pit road, Mark Emerson, at 22, pits from the 4th position. Gonna try and split this run up.
Yeah, so he is exiting the pits, and remember at Las Vegas we have the blue line on the back straightaway, the iRacing blue line, which is the merge point that you cannot enter the racetrack earlier than that, so he is safely onto the racetrack. He is the first driver off the lead lap, so if something was to happen, he wouldn't be in too catastrophic of a situation, but he's going to want this to play out. But what is this going to do for everybody else?
Now Jordan Ashwin coming down pit road. I believe he was in the 7th position. Actually, he was in 5th. There's coming down pit road, so 2 guys from the top 5 coming down, as well as Troy Haight on pit road.
Yeah, so we're going to be in an interesting dynamic, and well, it's a green flag strategy race, and if you've caught any of these races, especially the Monday ones we cover, Evan and I, we're very, very knowledgeable on what guys are going to do on pit strategy and if it's going to work, and we're always right with our predictions, right, Evan?
They're either going to pit or they're not. I am right on that, though. But it's kind of a vague estimate.
Here comes Ward.
So Ward obviously not very confident in the ability to make it 63 laps there to the end. And who is that coming down behind him? Brennan Stokes.
Stokes in that machine that looks like came out of Martinsville, but still managing to run a top 10 effort with it. And now, and we always talk about it, Evan, when you are out there on older tires, how much time you lose. So here comes Maxwell. So I'll eliminate that sentence before I finish it. Here he comes.
It's going to be interested to see what Mogard does if he's going to try and stay out. Because him running the bottom lane, he is having a lot more off-throttle time than if he were to be running the top.
Yeah, and again, is that his goal? Because at this point, I mean, the longer he stays out there, just as I was saying, you lose about 2 seconds a lap to fresh tires. So if he pits late, he's not going to have enough time to use those fresh tires to his benefit. So I think if he doesn't pit by lap 100, he's staying out, but we'll see. The highest running driver who has already pitted is Mark Emerson in 5th. He is exiting corner number 2, and Ward is just now off of 2, so it's about a 2.5 second interval between those two drivers. I expect Ward to eat that up with 4-lap fresher tires, but they have to go about a full lap around the speedway in just under 30 laps if they're going to win this race on a strategy call, if indeed Mogard stays out.
Corey, Scott Eckrich has caught up to Jared Mogard now for the lead, and he is going to get around them.
And
so I do think Mogard is saving fuel at this point.
Look at Mogard sail it off in there into 3. So I don't know if he just magically found something or what, but he sailed it in there and drops back, and here comes Ward. He is trying to unlap himself, and well, you can see how difficult that is when you're on new tires. He just weaved up, down, and made those lanes open up for him. So now, again, our reference point right now is Mark Emerson. Coming off corner number 4, Scott Eckrich.
Here comes Eckrich to pit road.
All right, so throw that strategy away. Now, if you're Eckrich, what did you gain by coming those couple extra laps later?
5-lap fresher tires to run up to the end to try and reel him in.
But
that's really the only thing. But it's gonna be 10 seconds at least behind him.
And then only having about 24 laps to make it happen. But $1 million question, it's Mogard and Stewart. Stewart is far enough back that I don't think it's going to have a race-winning effect for him, but it could for Mogard if he is going to stay out. And we're getting to the point. I said lap 100. If he doesn't pit by lap 100, I think he's staying out. But I think that these guys are going to be running faster. He's just under 2 seconds. In some cases over 2 seconds, depending on the lap, slower than these guys.
Jeff Ward is going to get by Mark Emerson here. Going down the front stretch now. This could end up being the battle for the lead and for the win. Emerson is having some connectivity issues.
Trying to see if that was just us there on the broadcast side, but no, it is a connection issue. And well, Evan, we know they got to go 25 seconds, and they're 2 seconds faster over 23 laps. So
it can be done.
The mathematics say 2 seconds times 23 is 46. So that would mean they will catch him easily. But we know that the tires will degrade and they will slow down. Mogard may not slow down as much. He kind of will levelize out at a certain point. But for those who didn't watch last night, what happened, Evan, with about 3 laps to go? We had a restart, and everything that we thought was going to happen, well, it did not happen. So anything can still happen. We could still have a yellow and throw all this off, and Mogard could be a genius right now, but we don't know, as Emerson is starting to have connectivity issues, and a little worried about that. But Mogard is your leader for now. Jason Stewart hanging on to 2nd. Jeff Ward up to 3rd. Emerson in 4th. And Sam Maxwell is in 5th. Jordan Ashland in 6th. Brian Yazik in 7th. Scott Eckrich is in 8th. Brandon Stokes in 9th. And Troy Haight, your top 10. So we'll see how it happens and how much time Eckrich can gain. Eckrich is closing in on Brian Yazik, just now exiting corner number 4. And he's at the stripe right now. Mogard, he's right in front of him, so this is him getting his lap back.
There's Yazik getting by, and here comes Eckrich going to try and get by.
But Eckrich
easily gets by him.
Eckrich right now exiting corner number 2. And Jeff Ward coming off corner number 4, so
solid 10 seconds at least right there.
Yeah, 18 seconds is the gap that Jeff Ward is back, and Scott Eckrich is registering about 30 seconds back. So 13 seconds he lost by pitting that much later, and I don't see him. I mean, he'll get some of it back, but I don't see him getting all of it back.
Ward has now gotten by Jason Stewart for second, so 17-second gap between him and Mogard.
And he was 2 point, actually last lap he was 1.5 seconds faster over 20 laps. Evan, I'll let you do that math.
What was the math problem?
1.5 seconds over 20 laps, and I'm gonna do the math. That's over 20 seconds a game, so
so he could do it.
But remember, he's gonna start slowing down, and Mogard is probably gonna equalize out.
Because the last lap is only 1.3 seconds, so...
But Mogard,
it'd be very close at that rate.
It looks like he is driving an ARCA car out here compared to everybody else. He is just crawling around this speedway right now. But if a caution comes out, he is going to look like an absolute genius, and he's going to be in such a good position, but...
He'd be in the lead, but I still think, just based on outright speed, I think Ward would still get him.
You don't think he could hang on for maybe a 5-6 lap run if that was the case?
If there's a if we restart with 5 or 6 laps, he might be able to. But if we were to have a caution right now, I do believe Ward would still be able to get by him.
And I probably would be right in that. So again, that's why we got to stay tuned. 18 laps. This race will be over in less than 10 minutes if we do indeed stay green. And honestly, Evan, now they're down to less than 13 seconds as we'll bring up the battle tracker. And a 32.4 to a 30.7. 12 seconds, 17 laps. Mogard, start engraving your gravestone there, buddy, because I do not think it's going to work for you.
But still, he's going to finish most likely in second.
Yeah, he's not going to get the win. But he was running in this position beforehand, so...
He didn't really lose anything.
But depending, we'll see how many laps. I don't think he really got any laps, but at the very least, he took a stab at it. And in all honesty, sometimes that's what you have to do in the playoffs when you know you're not the fastest car, but you want that win. You have to take these chances, and as long as he doesn't run out of gas and as long as he doesn't lose control of the car, it may not be a winning effort. In fact, I'm pretty certain it won't be a winning effort, but it's still going to be a very solid attempt, and showing these drivers he's not afraid to take a chance to do something big.
Yeah, because as long as he doesn't run out of fuel or just spin out or hit the wall, he's going to finish top 5. Most likely top 2.
Yeah, because once you get to Jeff Ward, you're going another 4.5 seconds back to Mark Emerson, and then Emerson and Sam Maxwell.
And Emerson is only 9/10 quicker per lap than Mogard, so that wouldn't get there.
Yeah.
Here comes Curling and Foose trying to get their laps back, and Foose is no longer in 11th; he's in 12th, trying to get 11th back though.
11th is right in front of him, and Curling is on even tires compared to Foose, so that's just going to be a battle on outright speed right there to see if they can get it. Oh, if he could get it in that 42, you could see he really sailed it off into 3, washed up the track. Curling is committed to running that upper groove and kind of holds an even gap, so that is again the battle for 11th position, and they are officially on the lead lap as of right now. That leaves, as you said, 12 drivers on the lead lap, and again, closest battle on the track is, well, it's a side-by-side battle. Well, it was a side-by-side battle. Sam Maxwell having a hell of a run tonight in top 3 and repossesses that 3rd spot. Maxwell, a driver that he has run a lot better in both divisions of this league, both in the trucks and in the cup. He has run so much better than the stat sheet shows.
Yeah, he just needs a little bit of luck on his side, and he can get a really good finish, which, at least so far tonight, he's had it on his side, so we don't want to jinx him yet, or we don't want to jinx him at all, but hopefully he can keep that good run going. And I don't know, is he in the playoffs, Corey?
Yes,
I didn't know. He is?
He's 6th in the playoffs, and he does not have any seeding, so he is 12 points back, so this will be good with a couple drivers having some problems tonight. But up front, the gap is about 4.5 seconds. Mogard ran a 32.6. Ward ran a 31.3. So that gives him about 2 laps. But is he slowing up enough that he can turn up the wick, or is that wick already well past and burnt? I'm gonna go with option 2, but you never know. Maybe he can pick up a half-second a lap, and that might be enough to try to stall out Ward. But
the issue is, even if he could pick up a half-second a lap, would that burn up too much fuel?
I mean, if he got himself a buffer, but his tires are still going to be pushing 60 laps old, so even if he has the fuel, he's not really going to have the grip. As Scott Smith really loose
there,
but uses all the pavement down there and keeps that thing pointing the right direction. Gap down to less than 2.5 seconds.
I think Mogard could move up to the top and maybe gain 3 or so tenths, but I don't know if that would burn up more fuel running that higher lane. He's going to have more on throttle time.
And I mean, if he could magically hang on for 5 laps and catch a caution, he'll win on default. Actually 6 to go in American Sim Racing Series. There are no 1 to go restart, so he can magically hang on for 3 laps and catch the $1 million caution flag, then he's going to be a genius. But now the gap is less than a second, and well, the next car in his mirror is Ward, so not looking good if you're a Mogard fan, but still at the very worst, I expect this to be a P2, P3 at the absolute worst. So still a good call by Mogard to give it a try, but here comes Ward rounding the outside, going for the lead.
Out of turn 2, going to try and get the lead here. Mogard leave him in the lane, and he's side by side, and he is clear. Just those fresh tires, about 30 lap pressure tires on that 90 machine. So tires are huge here at Las Vegas.
Oh, and last time by, Maxwell was 1.4 seconds faster than Mogard, so there is a fighting chance that Maxwell will be able to get there. 32.6 for Mogard, and we wait for Maxwell to cross the stripe, a 31.6, so a full second, so it'll be pretty close. If Mogard may lose second spot, we will, as Ward comes through 3 and 4, once he crosses the stripe, we will hit what is the ASRS cutoff lap, because they do not allow 1 to go restarts. So if a caution comes out from here on in, it will most likely end under yellow. At 5 to go, it'll be a certainty. So Jeff Ward dominated this season. We've run 13 races. He's had 10 top 5s. He's had 10 top 10s. He's had 5 wins, so he has just really just showed these drivers who's boss and taken advantage of it here in round 1 of the playoffs. I'm pretty certain, again, I'm not positive, I'm pretty certain this will buy him a free pass to Homestead, assuming he does run the next 2 races, which I don't see why he wouldn't, given unless he has any kind of personal conflict. So he'll get to start practicing in Miami for a Cup Series championship, but still 4 more laps coming around Las Vegas to seal the deal.
A lot can happen in this 4 laps, but I do believe Mogard is going to lose second here, as he's only got 2 seconds over Maxwell. But still, top 3, that's going to be a good run for starting 21st.
Yeah, and Mogard is in 7th in the standings and playoffs. Again, 4th through 8th are all separated by nothing. They all have exactly 1,000, so this will put Mogard and, for that matter, Maxwell into a higher position to be. Remember, you only have to be in the top 4 to carry yourself into Homestead, so whatever buffer you can get. So we do have Indianapolis, we do have Martinsville to get these drivers sorted into the championship for Homestead, so want to have as good of a run as possible. But we are on 3 laps to go, and just in these about 5 or so laps, Evan, he's already pulled out, Ward has, to 5.5 seconds.
Yeah, 1.3 seconds quicker last time by was Jeff Ward. And here comes Maxwell right on the back bumper of Mogard. Out of turn 4, he's not going to be able to make the outside lane stick, so he's still behind him, but he's going to get him here on the front stretch with 2 laps to go now.
Yeah, so move Mogard back to 3rd, and he may lose 4th because
and even 5th.
Eckrich is only 3/4 of a second back, and Mark Emerson is a second behind that. Eckrich sideways. Oh my goodness. And he's still lost. He spun out, but he didn't lose it.
And I don't know if he ever lifted there. I think he stayed in the throttle for that entire drift.
Oh my goodness. The save of the race goes to Eckrich, but the white flag goes to Jeff Ward, who has been up front. Well, about the second half of the race, we had a shake-up in the race with a green flag stop that got interrupted by a caution flag. Luckily for Ward, he got the lucky dog. He got back on the lead lap. He was able to get to the lead and hasn't looked back ever since he took the lead after passing Jared Mogart on his strategy call. But coming off corner number 4, round 1 of the playoffs goes to Jeff Ward.
Sam Maxwell going to come in second, and Jared Mogart is out of fuel. And it looks like Scott Eckrich is going to end up in third.
Mogart is not crossed the stripe yet. He's back to 7th and may lose another spot. Here comes Brandon Stokes. This will be 8th and 9th. So Jared Mogart's going to drop back to a 9th place finish. So that is not what he wanted, but again, we offer our congratulations to Jeff Ward. So let's go through here and give you the final rundown of what happened here tonight at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. With that checkered flag, that American Ethanol checkered flag, it goes to Jeff Ward, leading only 17 laps in tonight's race. Sam Maxwell taking home P2. Driver who led the most laps, Scott Eckrich, will have to settle for 3rd. Mark Emerson in 4th, Jordan Ashland in 5th, Brian Yazik in 6th, Brandon Stokes in 7th, Troy Haight in 8th, then Jared Mogart and Jim Foose pulling out a top 10 tonight.
Nick Curling coming home in the 11th position, Jason Stewart in 12th, though he is the last car on the lead lap. Scott Smith in 13th, Tim Knott in 14th, Jared Haggerty in the 15th position, and rest of the top 20 we have Steve Uhala, Richard Fletcher, Mitch Brown, Jordan Harnish, and Alan Young.
Then 21st through 30th, well actually effectively the rest of the field at this point. We have Jeremy Banning, John Kennedy, John Martin, Mark Cohn, Woody Mahan, Alex Giese, Chris Titus, and then we have Andy Veltman and Tyler Seville, last driver to take time tonight. That had issues very early in the festivities here at Las Vegas, so we are going to give these drivers a brief moment to get into the booth with us and hopefully have some post-race interviews. So stay with us for a brief minute or two and we'll be right back with you. And we're back here on PTR TV on LSR TV. We have the top 3 finishers, so let's start the post-race show, shall we? We do have Scott Eckrich, and Evan Black has caught up with him.
So Scott, you entered the playoffs as the 2nd seed and come with a 3rd place finish here tonight. What are your thoughts after this race?
I mean, we got a decent result there, but we're just real disappointed with how that went. You know, felt like we probably had the fastest car out there, and had a little external distraction there, and managed to get into the wall a little bit. And you know, I guess we cracked 3 spark plug wires.
Yeah, you led the most laps, but you got caught a lap down there during green flag pit stops. And did you really have a plan for your pit stops coming into this race, or did you just kind of wing it?
I mean, I had a general idea of a number, you know, but obviously that, you know, you have to kind of run on the fly there with how, you know, the cautions fall and stuff. But you know, you know, that happens. You get caught out on those late, you know, cautions and stuff on pit cycles. So you just gotta try to recover from it and hope you can do the best.
Yeah, we saw a lot of different lanes out there tonight. And did you feel like there was a preferred lane, or was it just wherever they weren't?
Yeah, I would say definitely, but right as close to the top as you could get in 1 and 2 was the fastest. And you know, middle-ish in 3 and 4. That's pretty much where you wanted to be. But you know, you could move around a little bit and not be far off of that optimal time. So it was actually really good as far as the multi-lane racing goes.
All right. Well, is there anyone you would like to thank or shout out to after your 3rd place finish?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank all the Loud Pedal Motorsports guys, and obviously Jeff for getting the win there, bringing it home for us, and you guys for putting on our broadcast.
All right, thanks for talking with us, and congrats on your 3rd place finish.
Thank you.
Now Corey has caught up with 2nd place finisher Sam Maxwell.
All right, Sam, it was a very clean and green race here at Las Vegas, and we saw a little bit of everything, some cautions, but mainly some green racing and green flag stops. And well, you had a 3rd place, but lucked into a 2nd there at the end. Talk about what your race was like tonight.
Well, for me, I was mostly concerned about conserving the tires and making sure I had something over the long runs. We had a couple of those, and so I figured if I took care of it, I would be strong at the end, and sure enough, came home with a 2nd, so I'm pretty happy about that.
So going into today, I mean, I don't know how much get to run maybe on the iRacing side, but Las Vegas is a very green flag track. And did you have a kind of a mindset of how you wanted to approach this race going into it with what was probably going to be green flag stops?
Yeah, my plan was to make it on 2 stops instead of 3. I anticipated a lot of guys were going to try it. They were going to try and do 3 stops, and I practiced it in testing, and it was too much of a deficit to make up, so I decided 2 stops was the way to go, and then I got lucky when the caution came.
Yeah, you did, and it caught a lot of guys a lap down, and well, we saw Jared Bogard going for the Hail Mary there. It didn't work out for him, so you ended up getting that 2nd there, which, given that you didn't have those playoff seeding points, you can use every point you can get. So with the next 2 races at Indy and Martinsville, is there one of those tracks that you may have your eyes circled on more than the other?
Well, Martinsville is just going to be all about being lucky. There's not going to be much more to it than that. Stay out of trouble and try and stay towards the front. Indy, on the other hand, I think I'll do well there. It's a slick track. The corners are sharp. It eats up tires, so I should be strong there.
All right, so we'll keep an eye on you in the next couple weeks. But again, a great run for you with P2. Who do you want to give a shout out to for tonight's effort?
I'm going to shout out to my wife and family, say hi to everybody, thank the league and the sponsors, and look forward to next week.
All right, thanks again, Sam, and hopefully we'll be talking to you for the remainder of the season.
Thank you.
Now Evan has caught up with the victor of tonight's race, the 6-time winner in 2018, Jeff Ward.
Well, Jeff, you had 5 wins in the regular season, and you started the playoffs off with a win, so 6 wins total. What are your thoughts after this race?
Yeah, Evan, it feels good to get a win and get locked into going to Homestead, because we got Martinsville next, which is, you know, it can be a crazy track. Never know what's going to happen. And then Indy, which I know Scott is pretty dominant there. Kind of like he was tonight. If he didn't, I think he got some contact there with the wall, but he had the car to beat. Wasn't really able to get a chance to see how we, you know, matched up with each other on real long runs, but the 20-30 lap runs, he could start inching away from me, and the thing just got real loose. It was a handful. I'm actually wore out right now from fighting this wheel all night, trying to keep this thing from spinning out off the exit of corners. It was pretty loose.
Yeah, like you said, you're locked into Homestead here, and I believe it's about 3 weeks before we get to that track. How do you feel going into that race? You're going to be able to race for a title. How does that make you feel?
You know, ever since they come out with chase format, I've always hated it because it's always been Homestead, and it's never been a good track for me. And there's been a lot of championships that's got away from me just because of that track. So we're gonna have to go do some practicing, some homework. Maybe watch some guys that are a little faster and see what they're doing, and just really study, because I know I'm gonna have a battle on my hands with Jarrett, Brian, and Scott there, and the other guys that are in the chase. So we'll just have to practice, man, and hopefully have some speed, because I think we're going to be just a little off, just like we were tonight. If Scott didn't get in trouble, he would have been sitting in victory lane here. So got a little work to do.
Got one more question here for you with Indy and Martinsville coming up in these next 2 weeks. You don't really have anything to worry about, so are you looking forward to those races just to go out there and run it for fun?
Yeah, that's going to make it fun. It's going to be a lot less stressful. The only thing is we got to make sure we don't hit into some other chase drivers and run their chances. So I don't know how we'll approach that. I guess just go in and race like we always do, try to have a little fun, and hopefully learn a couple things, mainly at Indy, trying to just work on our speed for Homestead.
All right, well, is there anyone you would like to thank or shout out to after your victory here at Vegas?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Loud Pedal Motorsports, Scott, Brian, Woody was out there tonight, and you know, like I said, Scott had this thing wrapped up. He had a lot of speed, so that's good for the team. Not so good for me for the championship, but I'd like to thank you guys for doing the broadcast. Thank Jim for running a good group of guys here, and just friends and family.
All right, well, thanks for talking with us, and good luck as you go pursue a championship here in a few weeks.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, so that is the post-race show, and I do want to give a thanks to people in chat. We do try our best here to bring these races to life and make them as authentic as possible, so thanks to those comments in chat. But again, we want to thank everyone who did tune in to tonight's coverage of the American Sim Racing Series, PTR TV on LSRTV. Some changes going on LSRTV, so maybe a little hiatus in content. So if you want to tune into some content on LSRTV, that we're going to be your go-to for a little bit. So don't miss these races every Tuesday night. Don't miss the Integrity Racing League every Monday night. They are another great league for some awesome Cup Series action and a lot of green flag runs. So some good action to close out the 2018 campaign, both on PTR TV and LSR TV, and well, for ourselves as we wrap up our broadcasting tenure. So again, thanks for tuning in for tonight's coverage. Corey Silva and Evan Black gave you the calls. Joe Chris was helping us out behind the scenes. Have a great night, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.
Have a good night, and we'll see you in the next week.